people are leaving the country in record numbers.
But New Zealand workers are more pessimistic on the jobs market.
Tens of thousands of Kiwis packed their bags and jetted off to live overseas in 2024.
When you think of New Zealand, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's a picture-perfect postcard. The rolling green hills of the Shire from Lord of the Rings, pristine lakes, majestic mountains, and a relaxed Kiwi lifestyle that's the envy of the world. It's a place of breathtaking natural beauty and a reputation for being a quiet, safe haven at the bottom of the world. For decades, that image has drawn people from all corners of the globe, seeking a better life. But for more and more people, that postcard view is starting to look like a distant dream. The quiet paradise has become a harsh economic reality.
Yeah, I know a lot of girls that go to uni that have to provide for their families as well, and they have to skip school and stuff like that to be able to have food and dinner on the table and stuff like that.
Living in New Zealand for a growing number of people, Kiwis and immigrants alike, is becoming not just difficult, but for some genuinely impossible. So what's going on? What has happened to this country that has made it so hard for its own people to thrive?
The equivalent of this entire stadium and more leaves every year to permanently live in Australia.
Just over 130,000 left in the year to April, the highest number over 12 months. And the majority are Kiwis, more than 80,000, exceeding the previous record of almost 72,500 New Zealand citizens.
Today we're going to talk about the economic and social pressures that are slowly but surely eroding the Kiwi dream. Let's start with the one issue that sits at the heart of this problem.
It wasn't our first option to leave New Zealand.
Migration loss of just over 47,000 New Zealand citizens last year.
Housing. For generations, owning your home was a core part of the Kiwi identity. It was a rite of passage. But today, that ladder is not just high. For many, it's been pulled away entirely. The numbers are staggering. In the decades leading up to the pandemic, New Zealand's house prices soared to levels that were completely disconnected from average incomes.
Our responsibility is to build the proposition of the country so that people actually choose to stay here because they can see a future for themselves and for their grandkids, and that's what we wake up each day trying to do.
It wasn't a slow climb, it was an explosion. And while we've seen a slight dip in prices recently, it's from such an astronomical height that it's done little to help the average person. We're talking about a country where the median house price in major cities can be 10, sometimes 12 times the median household income.
Over the past few years, there's been a steady increase in rental prices nationwide, including in key education hubs like Auckland, Hamilton, Wellington and Christchurch.
Think about that for a second. How is a young professional or a family with 2 jobs ever supposed to save for a deposit? This isn't just an economic problem, it's a human one. It forces people to make impossible choices. Do you stay in your job in the city and pour more than half your income into rent? Or do you move to a smaller town where the jobs are scarce and the opportunities for your kids are limited? It's a lose-lose situation that's fueling a sense of hopelessness.
They found the average house price in New Zealand has grown by almost $400,000 in that period.
On average, those living in a shared flat spend 56% of their weekly income on rent.
Especially among the younger generation. Now, if you think the housing problem is a beast on its own, wait until you factor in everything else. Even if you've managed to secure a place to live, the rest of your budget is under relentless pressure.
The property development has basically stopped, not because of finance, not because of the economic situation, but poor infrastructure planning.
Lack of infrastructure is the bottom line.
It's in line with expectations. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand decided to keep the current monetary support with the official cash rate unchanged at 0.25%.
New Zealand is geographically isolated, and that simple fact has a massive economic ripple effect. Almost everything we don't produce here has to be shipped in, and we pay a premium for that. Your electronics, your clothes, your car, it all comes with a built-in distance tax. But what's truly infuriating for many Kiwis is the price of things we do produce. We're a massive agricultural exporter, yet staples like dairy and meat can be astronomically expensive at the local supermarket. We export our best products to the world at a premium, and then we pay for it ourselves at home. It's a source of constant frustration. And then there's the duopoly. 2 major supermarket chains control a huge chunk of the grocery market. That lack of competition means they can set prices without much fear of a rival undercutting them. When you combine that with rising interest rates and inflation, it means that for a lot of families, the weekly grocery shop is the most stressful part of their week.
Well, the housing dream continues to soar out of reach for many, with the latest data showing prices continuing to climb. House prices rose by 16.1% in the year to March. That's the biggest leap since 2006.
It's a silent drain on the budget that never seems to end. So, why aren't wages keeping up? This is where the core economic issue truly comes into focus. While the cost of living has skyrocketed, wage growth has been slowed and inconsistent for years. The gap between what people earn and what they need to live is getting wider and wider. We're seeing a brain drain as a result. Our best and brightest are looking across the Tasman to Australia.
And based on the latest estimates, most cross the ditch, moving to Australia.
Yeah, even more in New Zealand than you do in Australia. Of course, we've had the same challenges around inflation and cost of living here, housing, all the same challenges, but they're feeling it more in New Zealand.
The lure is simple and powerful. A higher salary for the same job, often in a market with better tax and superannuation schemes. It's an easy decision for a nurse, a teacher, or a software developer who wants to save for a house or a family. This exodus of skilled workers puts further strain on our own economy and public services. Our hospitals and schools are losing valuable talent because we can't offer a comparable lifestyle. It's a vicious cycle. People leave, which creates a skill shortage, which theoretically should drive wages up, but the overall economic structure with its high cost base and productivity issues holds them back. The result is a workforce that feels undervalued and a generation that feels like they've been left behind. This isn't just a spreadsheet problem. These economic pressures are having a profound impact on the soul of the country. The dream of a laid-back, no-worries lifestyle is being replaced by a sense of anxiety and precarity. When you're constantly worried about paying the rent or the next grocery bill, it's hard to embrace that relaxed, carefree attitude. People are working long hours, taking on second jobs, and the stress is taking a toll on mental health. And then there's the social isolation. The high cost of living makes it difficult to have a social life. A night out for dinner or a few drinks becomes a major financial decision, not a spontaneous one. And because of the housing crisis, finding a flat or a room is a cutthroat competition, not a simple arrangement. And this creates a transient community, where people don't feel a sense of permanence or belonging. They're just passing through, trying to make enough money to eventually get a foothold, or to give up and leave.
Food prices were up 4.6% in the year to June.
Consumer prices rising at an annual rate of 7.2%.
So, is the dream of living in New Zealand truly impossible? For many, it's not impossible, but it has certainly become an economic tightrope walk. The postcard image of a prosperous, egalitarian society is fading, replaced by a reality of high costs, low wages, and a deep-seated anxiety about the future.
Cost of living is the main issue for New Zealanders at the moment.
Labor let inflation get to 7.3% and stay out of target band for 3 years.
We recognise that things are tough.
The immigration numbers tell the story. Kiwis are leaving in record numbers. And while the government and economists might point to positive trends, the people on the ground, the ones paying the bills, are voting with their feet.
A quarter of New Zealanders are struggling with the cost of living.
Just over 1,000 New Zealanders shows nearly half, 47%, are worried about job security, and 1 in 4 are struggling with the cost of living.
For a country that prides itself on its unique way of life, this should be a wake-up call. Because if we don't address these fundamental economic issues, the beautiful paradise at the bottom of the world might just become a beautiful place that no one can afford to call home. If you found this video insightful, please hit the like button, subscribe for more content on the real world of economics that shape our lives, and let me know in the comments down below what you think. Is the Kiwi dream still alive, or is it just a memory?